So we want to start with unbleached all-purpose flour and put it into our food processor. So it goes right in here. And then with that, we want to add about 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So there's the baking powder. Then we want 1/3 cup of sugar. There's the sugar. Now comes the fun part, because we need butter. And this is my trick for getting a nice flaky crust. You want to use frozen butter and a cheese grater. And instead of pulsing it forever into the flour, this will incorporate it into the flour much more quickly than had you just chopped it up and put it in. So you will have to get a little spatula to get it out of the cheese grater, but this is the better way to do it. Try to keep the butter really frozen and a piece of paper around it, and your cheese grater should be cold as well. And now we're going to whirl this up. Now, the thing here is you just pulse until that is looking like it's somewhat in there. You don't want to overdo this, because then you're going to have tough dough. Then we want some milk and an egg. So no recipe is absolutely 100% foolproof. Now we want to mix that up. Just break up that egg a little bit. When you start to see, whoops, a ball of dough going around that blade, then you know that you have enough liquid. Take that. Thanks. Put a little bit of flour down. And kind of put it into a disc form. You want to get that cold, because it'll be a lot better for you to roll it out. But you see, you want to control the amount of moisture you put there so that you have a nice, this is a nice soft ball of dough. You're going to need 1.5 cups of whole dried figs. When you get them home, you want to rehydrate them in warm water. So you take them out of the package, put them in a bowl, pour some warm water over them, and let them sit there for about 15-20 minutes. Make sure you take the stems off. Some people forget. So, figs, I said raisins. Here we have golden raisins. Why are we using raisins? What does Sicily make that is one of their key products? What? Yeah, wine. So what happens to those dried grapes? They become raisins, right? So raisins is part of this recipe. Orange trees are everywhere, along with lemon trees. Almond trees bloom in February. Pink, beautiful flower, so we have almonds in this. And from the Arabs who brought spices to Sicily, were one of the first areas to settle into Sicily. The Arabs brought their cuisine with them. That's why Sicilian food is really a mishmash of many, many cultures. We have cinnamon, so we're going to be using some cinnamon with this. And then we have here some orange marmalade. Now the recipe that we're doing, I don't think I told you, is the one from my Nonna Saporito, who came from Caltanissetta in the center of Sicily. And this was her recipe. And she always added a pinch of black pepper to this. So let's grind these up. So this is going to be a real thick paste. So we're going to put that in with the raisins. So we get that going first. So we grind this up. Okay, now I'm going to add the nuts. I'm going to add the zest. Whoops, oh, I made a mess, but okay. I'm going to add the zest of an orange. And I like to do that with a microplane zester. This gives a really nice flavor to this. Doesn't that smell good already? Mm-hmm. Here we have the pepper, and we want the marmalata. Here's the orange marmalade. That's going to help bind this all together. And now we whirl this up again. Let me get that off the top there. Until it's all well blended. So that's it. And you have to admit that when you smell that, doesn't it? It's just a lot of different underlying flavors going on there. Smells like Sicily, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Il sapore di Sicilia.
There's no question
Sapore di Sicilia. Sicilia.
That's good.
So you know when you make it that what that should be like. There you go. Oh, I got him. Okay, this just takes a little patience to get it. You don't want to tear the dough, though. We don't want to tear the dough. Let's put a little bit more. And we have enough here to do two. We're going to make 2 logs out of this. Plus, you don't want to put so much filling in there that when you roll it up, you know, it's all going to come seeping out the sides. So it is nice and thick, isn't it? But it's going to stay exactly where we want it. And sometimes you just have to play by putting a piece down there and spreading it. I often just spread it with my hands.
Oh, sure.
Just,
I could do that.
all right.
That's good.
That looks good. Now we're going to turn this around. There's our filling. And we're going to take this dough and gently lift it. We've got to get a starting point. So get a starting point, and then what you do is have this paper help you. So you lift the paper, you see? Lift the paper, lift the paper, lift the paper. And you want that seam on the bottom. And then you neaten these ends, tucking them under, and then just flatten that with your hand. Now you have this nice log. See? Then you're ready to bake. Here's our log. It's just come out of the oven. Look at how nicely brown it is on the bottom. It smells absolutely wonderful. And you really wouldn't have to do anything else to it, but we do want to put an icing on it. And that was the icing that we made earlier with the fior di Sicilia, the confectioner's sugar, and the orange juice. Now there's several ways to do it. I'm only going to ice half this log to show you. So you put the glaze on. This is one way to do it. Do the entire log this way, letting the excess drip off onto a piece of parchment paper or onto wax paper. And then you have your sprinkles. You put them on. And you just let that sit there. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to cut the log up into pieces first. Let me take this one. Move this over and show you, because now you can see what the inside of that looks like. See?
Oh, beautiful.
See? And when it's cool enough, cut straight down. Straight down. Straight down. Then take the log pieces and just dip them, see, like that. And then put your little sprinkles on.